Welcome back to the Psychological Paradigm Shift podcast. I hope you found the last episode informational and helpful. I am Ed Rieger, your host. I am the creator of the Psychological Paradigm Shift movement. You can find the entire layout of the movement on my website, psychologicalparadigmshift.com. On the website, you will learn what the mission of the movement is, the books I've written, the laws I am beginning to release, the podcast episodes, and you will be able to follow my political activities when we launch. Always remember, I am only providing my personal opinions based on my experiences and education on psychological topics. And tonight, we will be talking about mental illness in a very blunt, transparent manner. The topics may be disturbing to some, and it will never be my intent to hurt anyone, only to share my ideas and thoughts. Tonight, we're going to cover abuse towards a spouse or child and the questions you may want to ask your potential romantic partner. This category of questioning may be one of the most critical of all when beginning the dating process. You will have a short window to try and figure out who you're dealing with before it may be too late and the violent, psychotic assaults against you occur. There may be no clearer sign of induced psychosis than someone having the ability to abuse their intimate partners. I don't know any biological disorder of the brain that explains the need to abuse your partner or child. I believe this is thinking and behavior that definitely started very young for the chaos chasers, and now they are duplicating the behavior in their adult lives. It is estimated that 1 in 3 women, that's 36%, and 1 in 4 men, that's 28.5%, have experienced rape, physical violence, or stalking from an intimate partner. Let's dig into those numbers a little more. 36% of women have been raped or beaten, stalked by their romantic partner. There's roughly 170 million women in the United States. At 36%, that's 61 million women in the United States that have been extremely traumatized by this kind of violence. And the perpetrator is someone who supposedly should love them and want nothing but what's best for them. There's roughly 168 million men. When you multiply that by 28.5%, you get almost 48 million men. This is a massive amount of Americans walking around with these kinds of traumatic wounds. Now, they may have received treatment, but most likely they've never received treatment. These numbers alone should make anyone who is in the dating world today arm themselves with these questions, and it may be your only tool you have to protect yourself from the multiple abuses chaos-chasing partner can and possibly will inflict on you. According to the government's Child Maltreatment Report of 2023, parents were the perpetrators of 76% of substantial child maltreatment cases. I could list how many abuses go reported, but the numbers will never reflect the true numbers that go untreated. It's reported that women were the most abusive, and men were second. But they also would abuse together in large numbers. Now, these are their children that they're abusing, not strangers. When it comes to child abuse, it doesn't matter if you're a woman, man, white or black, rich or poor, or you're from Mars. The mentally ill are equal opportunists when abusing their children. Of course, these traumas will go untreated because we are talking about children who don't have the power to speak up and do not have the psychological maturity to call for help. They are vulnerable, helpless, and completely psychologically devastated by the abuse. They most likely will never really heal from these wounds, and these wounds will be carried into their teen years, young adult, and adult lives, and most likely until their last breath. When it comes to dating, if you're consider ever having children with a chaos chaser, you must understand if they've ever committed any of these abuses we are going to cover in these questions. I think these kinds of abuses will determine if a chaos chaser can ever be healed or redeemed. I don't see how they can ever forgive themselves, let alone ask for forgiveness for what they've done. Remember, the magnitude and scope of these kind of abuses estimates are that 61 million women have been raped or physically abused by a partner. 48 million men have been raped and physically abused by a partner. That means that there are millions of rapists, spouse abuses, and an unknowable number of child abusers in the United States. We can't even imagine the number worldwide. That's why this category and the questions we're going to cover are designed to try to help you protect yourselves as you go out into the dating world and try to create long-term relationships. Okay, let's get started. Have you ever had a physical confrontation with a romantic partner? Did you slap them, punch them, kick them? Have you ever thrown anything at your partner before? How many times were you physical with them? Did they ever need medical treatment because of your physical abuse? Did the physical activity lead to you breaking up? Have you ever had a physical confrontation with your partner in front of your child? Have you ever physically abused your child? How many times have you physically abused your child? Did they ever have to receive medical treatment because of your abuse? How many times has your child received medical treatment because of your abuse? What kinds of physical abuse have you done to your child or children? Were the authorities ever called in to protect the child from you? How many times were the authorities called in? Were you ever incarcerated because of the abuse of your child? How many times have you been incarcerated because of the abuse of your child? Has any of your exes ever physically abused your child or children? What kind of abuse did they perpetrate against your child? Were authorities ever called against any of your exes for abusing your children? Were your children ever put into protective custody because of your abuse of them? Were they ever put into protective custody because of the abuse they received from your ex? Have you ever been arrested because of abuse of a romantic partner? How many times? Have you ever served a prison sentence because of your abuse of a romantic partner? How many times? For how long? Have you ever sexually assaulted any of your romantic partners? How many partners have you sexually assaulted? How many times did you sexually assault those partners? I can guarantee you that I can almost guarantee you that the moment you start asking these kind of questions of a chaos chaser who has committed these kinds of horrific, violent acts against a romantic partner or their children, they're going to walk away immediately. Now, some would say, well, that's not always a good thing. Well, it could be, because if they walk away immediately and won't answer any questions like this, it may save you the possibility of becoming their next victim. So these questions may save you any future abuse that they were planning for you. Or they may be truly psychotic and think they can pull the wool over your eyes long enough to get the power they want over you to start the abuse. So they may just deny and lie and who knows what. So that's why you must use all the categories of questions to really understand the red flags you're dealing with when it comes to chaos chasers. You can't leave any stone unturned in trying to understand their psychological motivations of their behaviors. So I think these kind of questions in this category are critical as far as the conversation with chaos chasers. Okay, I wish you nothing but the best with these questions. And again, I think we should stop here. So I want to thank you for sharing time with me tonight. I hope the information was helpful to you as we progress through our psychological paradigm shift. Remember, you can go to the website, psychologicalparadigmshift.com, and I'll post updates when I have them, and you can sign up to receive future information. Excuse me. I look forward to next week's episode. Take care of yourselves.